Good evening. This evening I want to proceed to explain and show how to perform COS2614 2022. This is going to be COS2614 2022 Assessment 3 Question 2, the BMI Calculator. First of all, we load up our system and we go here and we go to our Qt program. Okay, I'm using Qt 5.3.0. I'm going to load the Qt Creator. You get presented with a screen like this. I'm going to create a new project. From here I want to go to other projects, and you can see there, I'm going to just choose this Qt console app from applications. Happy with that. Click on browse. I'm going to my C drive, going to my COS assessment 3 question 2, question 2. Okay, go select folder, and I'm calling this a BMI Calculator. Okay, so I'm clicking on next, clicking on next, clicking on finish. So now it's created my BMI Calculator Pro, my main CPP, but it's got no other classes on it. So I want to click on File, and I want to go to New Class. Where's File, New File, a project. I'm going to go to C++. I'm going to say Class, go for Choose, and over here I'm going to say BMI Calculator. Okay, there isn't any base class. Okay, so I'm going to make it a Q widget. Okay, so it inherits from Q widget, or I can just choose none. Okay, I'm going to click on next, click on finish, and there we go. Now I've got my header file over here, and then I've got my my compiler file, or my definition file, and then my main CPP here. So under the BMI Calculator, I'm going to add quite a few includes. So we've got our include Q widget over here. The other thing I want to do is I want to include the Q grid layout. So I'm going to go here and say hash include, and we say Q grid layout, Q grid layout. Okay, I want to also include a Q line edit, Q line edit. Okay, I also want to include a Q label. Okay, I want to include a push button. I also want to include a LCD display. And then finally I want to include a Q error message. Okay, so now I've got my class BMI Calculator, public Q widget and public, and we've got our BMI calculator over here. Okay, so I also want to add a destructor. So this is going to be basically this with this option here. Okay, so I've got my destructor. I'm going to create some slots. To do that, I say public slots. Okay, you should have learnt about signals and slots. I'm going to create a void calculate BMI. Okay, then I also want to create a function called clear. So this will be linked to my clear button, and the calculate BMI will be linked to my calculate button. Okay, I'm then going to create some private variables, and the first one that I want to use is a Q line edit. Okay, and I'm going to create this as an H entry. Alright, for my height entry, and then I'm going to copy this one and create it as my width entry. So I'm just changing that to W entry for width entry, and then I want to create a LCD timer, Q LCD number, not a timer but just a number. Okay, and we want it as result, and then our Q error message, so that if anyone enters the wrong information, then it can display our error. Alright, and that's what my definition for my header class will be for this BMI calculator. So let's go ahead and create the actual, define the functions now. So on my creator function, I want to first create a, I want to be able to set the window title to tell them that it's a BMI calculator. And so in order to do that, you just use set window title, and you say BMI calculator. Okay, so that will now display the word BMI calculator on it. Then the next thing I do is I add a Q grid layout, and that I'm going to call it layout. Okay, I'm going to say new Q grid layout. Okay, so now what happens is in a form you normally get different positions that the objects can be placed on the form. And so QGrid layout is responsible for creating a form that allows you to place different widgets in different locations on it. So basically now all I've done is I've created a new QGrid layout, and I've said to it, let's assign this application to this new layout. Okay, and so the next widget that I want to create is a Q label widget, and this widget will be my my input weight. So I'm going to just put here input weight. Okay, and it's going to be a new Q label. Alright, and it's going to ask the user to please enter weight in kilograms. Okay, So that will be a form that's now got a label widget, and the label widget is called input weight, and the label is going to say enter weight in kilograms. Okay, so the next one that I want is I need to create a line edit for the entry. So I'm going to say the input weight. So I'm going to say input weight equals a new Q line edit. Okay, and so that new Q line edit, it's going to be basically the line where people type in what the weight is, and then it's been assigned a variable called input weight. Okay, and so now I repeat these same commands for the height. Okay, so now we've got an input weight, we want a input height. So I can actually just change that to an H, input height, and the new label, instead of enter weight in kilograms, it's enter height. Enter height in meters. Okay, and now instead of, if I leave this as input weight, then it's going to assign the same weight to this, and so we don't want that. We want to create a new line, a new entry point for called input height, that the guys are going to enter the height in. Okay, and we're assigning it the variable input height, and then from here we also want to create a button called a Q push button. So I'm going to put that here, Q push button, and we're going to call this one calculate. Okay, Q push button, and we want to say calculate. Alright, just like that. And after that we want to also create a new label. Alright, so now we've created a label called BMI, and we've actually just we're saying that it must store a variable named label BMI. Okay, so we've done the Q label. The next one is the result. So let's create a result, and we want this to display in our new LCD numbers option, Q LCD number. Okay, and we're now going to format our result, the number that we want shown, and normally it used to come up automatically with this type of thing when I put dot, setting the decimal mode. So we're setting the digit count to 8 for that one. And then finally we're going to add a Q push button. And this Q push button we're going to label clear. Okay. And this one is going to basically represent the clear all. So we're going to say new Q push button. And we're giving it a description or telling it what it must display, clear all. And then finally what we do is, now that we've created all these new widgets, and these are widgets from code, so it's not widgets that are coming from a form or anything else. After you've created all the widgets, you now want to add them to the layout. And so the way that you do that is you go and you put out this layout, and you now assign all of them. So the first one, we're going to say add widget, and we want it to be our input weight. Okay, so our first widget's our input weight. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we've got to decide where do we want it. And so by putting 0, 0, we're basically saying we want it at the top on the left hand side, the first available block that's is available in our Q grid layout. Okay, and so the next widget that we wanted to add was the line that goes next to the input weight, the new line edit. Okay, yeah, we can't have input weight. Yeah, so that was input weight, and this was input weight. Okay, so I'm going to call this input weight label, and then input weight for there, and this one input height label, so that it knows to differentiate label. Okay, so I can just basically copy this and add it there, and instead of a 0, 0, we want the line edit to appear next to it, and we obviously want the line edit and not the label. Yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these, and I'm going to put it over here, and instead of this, we're just changing this to that H. Okay, I have changed it. Hey, yeah. And instead of this, because we want the input height label to appear below the input weight label, we change this to a 1 and a 0. And then because we want this height, the line edit to appear below the weight line edit, we're going to add it as 1.1. Alright, so that will now mean that they appear below each other. And then the next option we're going to do is create a layout for our calculate button. So we want to copy this out here till the add widget, and we're going to go over here and we're going to say, okay, I want my push button, my calculate, okay, to be to be on the next line. So if I go here, I want it on the next line, and I want it on the right hand side, so that's why I'm putting it as 2, 1. Okay, so that creates that one. And then the next one, the next widget that I want is the label widget. and this BMI label. So if I push, okay, so we've gone and copied the calculate instead of this. Okay, so let's just go here. There we go, and we want our label BMI. That's what we want over here. That's going to be our next widget. Okay, and we're going to put this at 30. Okay, that'll be the location. Then the final one will be the result and the clear button. So let's go ahead and add our layout over here and go there and put result, and we want this on 3.1. Okay, and then our clear button. Clear, and we want that on 4.1. Okay, so now that we've told the layout, please add all these widgets to you. We now go and say, okay, in this program we want to set the layout, and we're going to set it to the name that we gave the layout, which is layout. Okay, and so now that will basically format the form to add all those widgets in the correct location. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to create our signal and slots. So we're going to type in connect. We want to connect our calculate variable to our button. So we go to calculate, and then what we're doing is when somebody clicks a button, it's called a signal, and the signal that they give out is called clicked. So you say calculate is linked to the clicked option. Okay, and we want to assign it to this application, and then we've got a slot, and the slot is basically our calculate BMI, which we did over here. Okay, and so we copy this and we add it in as our slot. Okay, and so that would now create a signal and slot for our calculate button. Okay, and so we want to do one other one. We need to do this for the clear. So we're going to go to connect. I'm going to say connect, and our option is the clear, which we've got a clear button. Okay, yeah, clear, and then we're going to associate it with the signal clicked, like that, and it's going to be for this application, and we're going to link it to a slot called clear, just like that. Okay, and I wonder why it wanted to take away one of our extra brackets. Definitely don't want that one, but that looks good. Okay, alright, so now that sorts out our definition, and we've basically created the form. Yeah, I wonder if we should run it and just see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and save all, see if it shows us any result. You know what? I went and chose a command. I went and said I wanted a console app. And you can't have a console app when you're wanting a GUI program. So I'm going to have to go back and change that. So I'm going to actually take away these configs, and I just want to use that one. And let's go save all, and let's see if it will compile. No such directory. Q widget. I think it's because I've gone and created this, and so it needs a Q widget option, and there's no widget here. I haven't declared a widget, so let me try and add this qt plus equals, and we want to say widgets. There we go. Let's go see if that fixes it. Input weight is not defined, and a new Q line edit. Okay, I found out where the problem was. In my header file, I declared H entry here and W entry here, and so that's why these weren't working. So I had to change this from input weight to W entry, and this input height to H entry, and then also updated these two records. Now I've tried to run it, and it's giving me this undefined reference to vtable for BMI Calculator. And when I go to have a look at my main, I notice that it doesn't have anything here to say, you know what, how can we please run this BMI? So I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm going to say BMI Calculator. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it in my main over here. Okay, and W for window. Alright, and then we want w.show so that it can display it like that, and then let's go and see if that will run it. No, still not. Oh, we haven't included our BMI calculator header here. Hashtag include, and actually BMI calculator. That's it. Okay, are we ready? Is it gonna work? No, doesn't like it. Doesn't like our undefined. Okay, so let's go and create our this part here, destructor. So we go here, go to this part, and we need to remember to include this. Okay, we go here, and we should we should basically be okay with just that. Let's see if that shows us anything, gives us any result. No, still cannot create a queue widget without GUI Application. Okay, so it looks like the code wants to run, but because I've selected GUI App, it's still not. It's still seeing it as a console app instead of seeing it as a normal app. So that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just copy. I'm going to close those programs down and then remove the program. Okay, so let's start that over again. I'm going to go new, I'm choosing applications. So actually what happened was we would choose none, we'd say an empty Qt project. Yeah, I think that was the easiest actually. Yeah, other projects, a empty Qt project, choose, click this browse, go to our C drive, go here, go to assessment 3, question 2, and I'm going to call it BMI Calculator, just like that. Select folder. Oh wait, I think that was just question 2. 12x. That's fine. Next, next, finish. Okay, then I'm going to add file, open file or project. I want to move all of these quickly. Paste. It's not adding it deliberately here. So what we used to do, file, edit. I wanted to add the files to the project. Yeah, this project is too blank. Gonna try it for the third time. I'm gonna just go ahead, create a new one. I'm gonna choose a Qt widgets application. I'm gonna put it in my projects folder. I've moved the files out because I don't want them in its same place. So I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna name it the same. BMI Calculator. Next, next. So this is going to be, I don't want to generate a form, but what I do want is I want BMI Calculator like that, and we don't want a Q main window, we want a Q widgets. Let's click on next, let's click on finish. Okay, now we finally have what we need really. Yeah, we got this BMI. Okay, it's got it in there. Our profile, which has got all the correct information in it. So now all I need to do is copy and paste the files that I have already done. So let me go ahead. We want our header file first. Let's go open with our notepad. And then we just want to include all of these. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we can take out the repeat of this. Happy with all of that. Let's add this part in. There, like that. Okay, then we go to this part. Yeah, you see it's got a parent, and you don't really need all of this junk, but I'll just leave it there anyway. Hopefully it doesn't throw us too many issues. If it does, we'll just remove it. Okay, open with Notepad. Yeah, I want to copy all of this. Okay, I want to paste it in here like that. Okay, we happy? That's it. And our main, yeah, we got it. Okay, so let's try and play this and see if it's happy. You can show us a form. Oh dear, still giving us we've got the 2. Okay, so I'm gonna definitely take this widget parts stuff off. So let me just see. Yeah, I don't think I need from this part. I don't need this parent. Don't think that I need that parent part. So I'll take that out. Public, yeah, that. So I'm going to just take this whole piece out. I just want it open and closed like that. And underneath here, I want to do the same. Just going to take this part out so it doesn't cause any confusion. Let's see if it'll still show us now. Maybe I've still got it wrong. I wonder if it isn't because of all these other files. File, close all. Yeah. So just want to clean. There's normally a build, run qmake, and it started again. No, still doesn't like it, eh? I wonder why it's giving us this problem. Our famous QT. We've got everything the correct way. Got this the correct way. And this is the correct way. And I don't see how I can even do this. See if that makes it. No, still.